Evening Eastern Standard Time. If you're watching this, you're checking in. I got called in for 4 hours today. It's not going to be too bad. Easy breezy. Of course, tomorrow night I've got a 12-hour shift. That's always fun, right? I'm going to talk about your beliefs and your convictions. How deep do they run? How far are you willing to go to defend them? Uh, I love America, and I love it so much that I joined the military, and I was ready to die for it. Not for America in general, but for a way of life, so that my family and friends and whatnot could continue on doing what we do and having the rights that we have. I'm not asking you for any praise on that. I think that's something everybody should do, honestly, if you're physically able or mentally able. However, it definitely gave me a perspective, especially in my angry years, because when you're 18, you got a lot of angst, a lot of extra testosterone. You're always in the rut, you know. But what was drilled into my head was, for 3 months was learning how to kill people. You know what I'm saying? And that coupled with my angry ways, I guess. I said and did a lot of things that I shouldn't have because I didn't know where to put that energy. So I put it toward negative things, whether that be drinking or womanizing or fighting or coarse language. And that's regretful. But it's kind of a phase I think most of us go through is the teenage angst and the anger and not knowing where you fit. But how far are you willing to go to defend your beliefs? Are you willing to take advantage of people? Are you willing to hurt people? If it came down to it, would you get up off your couch, grab a weapon, and go patrol your neighborhood against, some invader, whether that be foreign or domestic? I'm not trying to start anything. I'm not trying to say we need a revolution. I'm not going to imply that I would welcome one. What I'm asking is, how deep do your convictions run that you can't open your mind to someone else's beliefs or ideologies or even religion or even politics of another person and say to yourself, I don't agree with you, but I respect it? There's a lot of that negativity going around, that people that stay behind their line, whether that line is their religion, whether that line is their politics, whether that line is their sexuality, and they're not budging. And there's always going to be that line. But until you're ready to cross over even half a step to the other side of that line and ask the people there why they're there and why they feel that way, we'll never find common ground. I'm a sniffling and a snorting. I got all kinds of allergy problems, man. Kentucky, I'm telling you. I'm asking anybody, not just you or the people at Speedway, to, I'm trying to do this by example, is to shed kindness and understanding out there. Some religions are like love the sinner, and some religions are, you know, kill those who don't conform. There's too much contradictory bullshit out there. And there's really no way to start it over. We're kind of stuck where we're at. I feel like the Constitution, as a country, we've outgrown it. I feel like we need to sit down and completely and utterly just redo it. Because when you look at the 19th Amendment, it does not guarantee the women the right to vote. It says, discriminatory against sex. However, for years after that came out, they would states to, certify that only educated women and, were able to vote. They would do literacy tests before you could vote. And a lot of women and a lot of minorities and whatnot couldn't pass that test, so they couldn't vote. Then there's a 14th, and there's a civil rights vote that actually expires every so many years. How are you going to give people a right they didn't have when, they fought for it and then put it in an amendment that's going to expire? Come on. It's stupid. The Fourth Amendment, the Eighth Amendment, all those are great, but they're not being followed whatsoever. As far as unlawful search and seizure, as far as right to a fair trial. In my opinion, an unmarked police car that pulls you over, that's entrapment. Because you didn't know they were a police car. They have not identified themselves until those lights come on. And then you get a ticket for 25 over. That's another story. I feel like our country has outgrown the Constitution. And everyone is so divided that there's nothing to unify us anymore. Too many people are worried about their weapons being taken away. Too many other people are worried about the right to abortion. Too many other people, are worried about anything and everything. It's overwhelming. I'm not saying everyone shouldn't have a voice. Everyone should have a voice. That's the point. But when that voice gets so loud it drowns out other people's voices, then it's wrong. There I go. It makes me sad. This is Sad Trapper Man you're looking at. But I had to ask y'all to look within yourselves and decide to yourselves the fights that you're not seeing as deeming as worth it to fight, the fights that you're having at Thanksgiving behind closed doors where your friends can't, hear you because you're around mostly like-minded people. When you're trying to convince your grandpa to be a Democrat, or you're trying to convince your aunt to be a Republican, why not take that fight to a higher level and actually do something with it? We do all have a voice, and that voice is represented in a vote. Obviously. But that voice is, nullified if you vote, let's say, libertarian. Which is why I think we need tiered voting. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you know what tiered voting is, but you have a list of all the candidates. You say, I want to vote for this person. However, if he doesn't make it, I would rather have this person there. And if that person doesn't make it, I'd rather have this person there. So you could vote for Kanye West, then you could vote for R. Kelly if Kanye West doesn't get a majority of the vote, then you could vote for Eminem. That way your vote would actually count, because the 3% of people who voted for Kanye West here in Kentucky literally just, wasted their vote. However, everyone's able to turn it around and say, well, that's 3% of the vote that so-and-so didn't or wouldn't have gotten or whatever. But is that fair? I know I'm going on and on about politics, but that seems to be all that's on the news and whatnot. I had to turn on the classical just to get away from it. Before I go in, I got like 10 minutes. I won't keep it that long, though. But my point is that we all have convictions and beliefs. Now, what are you going to do with them? I'm not trying to start shit. I'm just saying we've got all these voices. We've got all these unheard voices. How are we going to fix it? Everyone needs to be heard. I don't care if you're 0.5% of the population or if you're 34% or if you're 75%. All these voices need to be heard, and everyone needs a shot at happiness. I'm not going to get into what I believe as far as politics goes, because I wouldn't want to, one, sway you one way or another, and I also wouldn't want to, have you have animosity toward me, because that's what it is. If you go downtown and say you're for so-and-so, you might get a few handshakes and you might get some tomatoes thrown at you. You never know. This is how serious it's gotten. But we need to take a step back and understand that we're all one country. We are not Democrat and Republican and independent and libertarian and anarchist or Satanist or Buddhist or whatever. We are all Americans. We are all one country. And we've got to learn to get along with each other. Because if we don't, the election of 1870, that led to the Civil War. How far are we willing to go with this? And for all the words that you're talking behind closed doors, are you ready? When the rubber hits the road, are you going to be ready? I would guesstimate 8 times out of 10 you're not. But that's some food for thought. Hope you have a good night. Thanks for listening to me ramble for 13 minutes. It helps me out. And that's what this, is all about, is helping others. And in the beginning it was for helping myself. But let's just try and get along. As Martin would say, can't we just all get along? Not Martin Luther King Jr., Martin from the show. With Shanae. Anyway, you have a good night. Be tolerant, please. Don't do anything rash that you're going to regret later, because you will regret it. And if you're watching this, you're checking in.